Oh, well, that was a romantic song. I pictured myself dancing with my Charlie. Yeah, made me fall in love again and again. Hello. So, first of all, I want to have you stand up and turn around and applaud Damien. And not only for who he is, but he won first place yesterday in his speaking competitions. And in 2 categories, is that correct? Yes, and I'm just so proud. I throw him challenges, and he always comes through. Some of the writings of Ernest Holmes, when you pull them out of context, can be a little bit... And he's able to speak from his heart and speak into yours. So thank you. And you've deserved the honor of the win. So thank you for that. We're really lucky to have him here. So I'm using up my time, huh? Not a lot to say. Actually, this is an interesting topic because we are tying up the whole month's theme of being rooted in the divine. And I shared in the earlier service, I was initially looking at this topic as telling the truth, and I thought, oh good, I'm an advocate of telling the truth. And then I realized, no, it's about the truth, the big capital T truth. And then that sent me on a tailspin. So I thought, what's that? And I kept hitting walls again and again. Truth is truth, it kept saying. Okay, that's helpful. That'll take up 30 seconds. And then I just kept coming back to that. And so during this week, I gave it a lot of thought. And I had a wellness exam on Friday morning. This young woman came in, and I was drawing her blood, and we were having conversations and, doing her EKG and talking about her health. And then we got, for some reason, why I think I started it, somehow talking about, she's a teacher. So I was saying, I was surprised how little substitute teachers make. And then I mentioned about the southern states, how I was proud that they stood up for themselves and were able to get some benefit from standing up and marching for a better pay. And then it turned to, it's all because, and I was like, where are we going? And then it became a faith discussion. And I realized, here's this dialogue that we can have with others. And then can you feel the times where all of a sudden it's like, we're in 2 camps. A moment ago we were one, drawing blood, talking. Now we're in 2 camps. And I watched myself start to prepare my rebuttal or whatever I was going to do. And I thought, I'm just going to listen. Maybe I'll hear something about truth here. And I just need to pause for a second. Can somebody turn that blind? The sun's, God is shining on probably my car window, blinding me. I think it's the next one. Thank you so much. I keep trying to talk, then I look over that way, and then I look back at you, and you don't have any faces anymore. I thought, okay, the next step is a seizure or something. So, because I'm talking about this. So she spoke about things won't change until Jesus walks again. And I said, and she goes, well, you know what I mean. And I thought, I haven't checked her blood pressure yet, so I need to kind of let her have the platform. And And so it went down, and she said, I believe in the Bible as the truth, the capital T truth. And I went, oh, okay, I'll talk about this on Sunday, because maybe there's a message here for me that I can kind of squirm around with. But when she was done talking about that Jesus is the way, that I can sit with that, I can hold that, I can understand that, I can breathe with that, I can say that. But then when she said, but this Buddha thing, there's not, she goes, that's just all wrong. And I was like, okay, take a big breath. And let me get your blood pressure now. But I thought, now, do I plant seeds of controversy here, or do I? And I sat with it the whole rest of the time, wondering, because there's the part in the Bible, I'm not a Bible scholar, but there's, do you spread before the swine, your seeds before the swine, and all these things. I'm thinking, she's so anchored in her truth. Will anything I say add to this moment? Will anything I have to say add to it? And I thought, nothing I can say, but I can be. I can be love, and I can just allow the conversation to support her world and her paradigm. But what I came away with was a stronger conviction in that my way was rather the right way. I know. Truth is truth. Now I get it. My truth. I thought I know that's not exactly the message I was supposed to come away with. But there's been so many times where I can get in this dialogue, and I've been burned many times of just being so in love with love and spirit, with what I call spirituality, which is so much different than religion. And I can feel so safe in that, so inclusive. And it's easier to be the one that's inclusive to hear those that are exclusive. It's still a challenge for me, but I can stand in that and know that my truth is inclusive, that I can hold that too. I can hold you as well, this person before me. And I was able to keep the conversation directed in a way that met her needs. And I realized that's how truth speaks, when we just let love flow. That when we quit trying to be right, if I stayed in that stewing of my own mind, I was no different. I was walling her. I would try to convince her to like Buddha. And I'm thinking, I can't until she wakes up to it. And so, but I certainly spent the time speaking Buddhist things. So, truth, I recognize there that truly, truth is something that we know and that we feel on a very, very deep level. And it's something that is so universally experienced that it cannot be denied. Now, I know in her paradigm, in her upbringing, this was her way. And she lives her truth. And I applaud her for that. That takes courage. But I live mine as well, and I recognize what I feel is a universal sense of love, something that is omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. Now, many people in life, and I heard it yesterday still in our SAGE group, people still wanting to know their purpose. Is it ever enough? Is it ever enough for any of us just to be sitting next to each other? Is that a wonderful purpose right there? To be in fellowship and friendship? To call out to those that we hear them say, I do not want to be isolated, and then you turn to them, say, I'm there for you. Let me call you. Let me reach out to you. Let me be that one that knows how big love is. So the other principle that I live by is this opportunity to witness what it feels like to serve one another. That's why we offer time and again the opportunity of seva, the selfless service. What does that selfless service mean? What do those words mean? it means dropping your agenda and showing up. Not to be right or wrong, but just how may I serve, how may I help, how may I be of service to you so that you feel lighter, freer. And this kind of truth is something that is so strong and powerful that nothing really can be added to it or taken away. I was watching a little video clip yesterday, and Charlie was listening to it in the background, and I was so impressed with his wisdom on this, because here I was struggling with what is truth, and I'm trying to look it up on TED Talk. They know everything. And so they brought the idea, this cartoon of a ball, and a person here and a person here looking at a ball. This person's view was an orange ball, because this side was painted orange. This side was painted green. They could not see any other angle except for where they were frozen. So the ball, is it orange or is it green? And they were both adamant on their perceptual field, right? Who wouldn't be? And then there was a third person that was able to see the whole thing, that was at another angle and was able to see, oh, it's both. It's all and it's both. And then there was a divine being that was up with a flashlight that able to cast a light down upon the ball to change the colors of orange and green to, whatever the primary color wheel is, wherever Sherry Wyndham is, whatever color that comes. And so it's realizing, we keep, whatever we shed more light on, it'll keep revealing a greater understanding and a greater truth. But nobody's wrong. Nobody has to be made wrong. And in that, the one thing that I kept coming up against in my looking at what is truth was, the truth will set you free. And I thought, what does that mean? Because I want to be free of this talk tomorrow. I wish it was Mary. And so I realized, it's when you let go of trying and you just allow things to be, which led me to one of Guru Maya's stories, which I wanted to share with you, because this idea of where do we get our awakening, where do we get our truth, where do we get those moments where suddenly it's revealed and we've got the light shine upon it. And here's the story. So someone had once asked this great Sufi saint, how did you attain such great poise? What did you read? What did you do? Who gave you the initiation? That's a big one. Who gave you the initiation to be so wise? And the Sufi said he had his own guru, yet he said, I attained poise from a dog. Perfect for this, Mary, with this cute little picture up here. The seeker was very surprised. From a dog? And the saint said, yes, one day I was standing on the bank of a river looking at nature. I was thinking about myself. I was contemplating the world. In the meantime, a dog came to the river for a drink of water. When he saw his own reflection, he thought there was another dog, and he began to bark and bark and bark. He kept barking until his mouth began to foam. He was dying of thirst. So finally, he closed his eyes and dived in. As he began to swim, he drank the water. Then he climbed out and walked happily away. Thus I realized that all my life I've been barking at my own reflection. And that is exactly what the world has been doing too, barking at its own reflection. The moment I had this understanding, I stopped barking. And the moment I stopped barking, everyone kept saying, how much poise? And so I'm reading that going, I'm totally barking at you guys. And yet it's our own reflection, right, that we're always looking through and at all that is, that paints our perceptual field, and that makes us feel suddenly, I'm not inclusive with you. I'm suddenly holding you outside my heart. Oh, bring you back. Bring this patient back into my heart. And so I listened to that, what is it? The still small voice that said, don't go there. Don't you go there with her. Don't try to change her, manipulate her, set her free, and you will be free. She is thriving in her belief system. She's harming no one. Set her free. That's what truth does. That's what love does. And so that idea, and especially with Palm Sunday, this being Palm Sunday, this idea of waking up to the truth of who we are. Think about Jesus in those moments of walking amongst all those loving, adoring crowds, entering. Imagine you being the one to enter into peace within your own self, peace within your own knowing. That's truth. Peace within your own knowing. You don't need to have permission from anyone, but just stand in your own ground, in your own truth. Smile. Have the poise and the dignity of self to just love, to recognize, here too, Lord, of my heart, I choose to be inclusive, not exclusive. It does not have to be my way or no way. So there is this other saying, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. What does that mean to you? Do you allow your mind to be renewed? Do you allow the truth to prevail? The truth, when you hear it spoken, to stir inside of you. I'm closing in. Why? Why? What am I to hear here? There was, when we were preparing for the workshop yesterday, I ran across the most eloquent, simple moment of reading something, but you know how it just stays with you for days? And it was this elder lady that simply poured herself a cup of tea in a crystal mug, and she set it on her table. And then the sun came from the clouds and cast a light through this crystal cup, which splattered color all around. And she sat in awe. And she thought, I'm so old, and this has happened many times before, and I've missed it. I know that this isn't the first time the sun has broken through the clouds. And I thought, oh, those are the glory moments. Let us not miss any more. Moment by moment, let us sit with our coffee cup and remember, when the light of the divine shines down, there is truth to be told, truth to be felt, truth to stir and quicken you and waken you, and to say, I love life. That's truth. I love life. So be transformed by the renewing of your mind, letting truth pour into the spaces of your consciousness that at one time or another have been held rigid in a belief or a perception. You know the moment you are, because the heart tells you. The heart tells you, it contracts, it squeezes in on itself, and you have to take a deeper breath. Those are the moments where the wisdom of the divine speaks to you through the heart, to tell you to tame the mind, to soften, and to be inclusive in that moment, to set your mind free, heal the inner mind, and transform and heal all that is around you. So think about this: as your consciousness brightens, you allow perceptions of reality to shift. Oh, we can get soft. The posture of our way, the posture of being, begins to let go of its hold on us. And there's another teacher, Meher Baba, that he writes, God is everywhere and does everything. God is within and knows everything. God is without us and sees everything. God is beyond us and is everything. God alone is. And in the epilogue of his book that says God Speaks, he shares, God cannot be explained. He cannot be argued about. He cannot be theorized, nor can he be discussed or understood. God can only be lived. Oh, bark, bark, bark. Nevertheless, all that is said here and explained about God is to appease the intellectual convolutions of the mind of man. Still lacks many more words and further explanations. Because the truth is that the reality must be realized and the divinity of God must be attained and lived. You see, if we are quickened and the still small voice says, lay it down, and we don't, and we say, I'm going to prove myself, I'm going to get snotty and angry. Everybody's lost there. I get so disappointed in myself when I go into that zone of personality, of righteousness. And then I have to grovel. I stand and testify that I had to grovel quite a bit yesterday. But my man stands by me with love, pours back. So to understand the infinite, these are the last words of Mir Baba, to understand the infinite, eternal reality is the goal of the individualized being in the illusion of creation. Because the reality can never be totally understood. It is to be realized by just conscious experience after experience after experience. Therefore, the goal is to realize the reality and attain the I am God state in human form. What's my purpose? That's all. Attain God in human form. Go for it. And how do you do that? You continue to align yourself with truth, with the big capital T. Because you know when you're there, you can feel it. The truth set me free. Oh, when I forgive, I'm set free. Yeah. When I love and share and serve, I'm set free. Yeah. Those moments. There was a marriage family therapist that spoke of this truth, and he said the core spiritual truth would have to be universally true regardless of any of our secular beliefs. So this truth, this big capital T, goes through the faith path of all traditions. It's just translated in different ways, in some ways that horrify us, that limit us. But it is their translation through that individual. But the greater truth, the universal truth, is always present. It would be true for all people at all times if a world characterized by unbounded information of a variety of cultures and seemingly endless opposition to others' point of views, fettering out even a few aspects of truth, gives us pause. Spirit is meant to be a life-giving force, an animating principle that we know as our soul. So you follow your spiritual truth, your spiritual principles, and you try to align yourself with the ones that really resonate with your heart. So these were his, that we are all connected. We can feel that. That life is change. We can feel that. Your ego is simply made up. You can live truth. How? Take care of your body through nutrition and self-care. Enjoy the abilities that you do have. Embrace your life and your physical abilities, even the ones you no longer have. Bless them and bless the memories of those. Let go of the people who have had to let go of their bodies. Holding on to those that have passed is only spreading misery around you and through you. Another truth, you're always here and now. Everything is spiritual. Everything. There is more to life than we can perceive. You can live these truths. There's always more. And finally, we are love. I didn't go into the details of those because those are his details. I invite you to find your truth today. As you stay in community, as you share with one another, as you share fellowship, it begins right there. That's what we're about here. That's what Reverend Barbara has done so beautifully in the Ukraine. Spreading love, spreading truth, principle, forgiving, letting go. So Judy, let's join in the flavor of that, knowing that each one of us is a divine instrument, finely tuned by the breath of God. Each one of us breathes the air, the prana, the life force of the divine. And within each and every one of us is that still small voice, that pure light of awareness. And as we surrender to that voice, to that light, we are led, we are directed, we are held, we are loved. And as we allow ourselves to be filled with that divine love and to be that divine instrument of service to all, we awaken humanity to its greater magnificence, because we are that. And as we become that in our hearts, we invoke that in all those around us. So I bless the many ways the light finds its way into my heart of understanding, where I can maintain that poise and that calm and that willingness to yield my way and to let the divine way be that which is made manifest before me right here, right now. I speak my word for myself and for each one here, those that have the ears to hear and the heart that is open. Abide by the truth and move forward from this moment on, awakened and a disciple of the truth. Thank you, God, for a study, a fellowship, a teaching where we are set free. And when we are free, truth prevails. I release my word knowing that each one of you carries what you need in your heart, and you awaken, you awaken, you awaken. So be it. Thank you, God, and so it is.